Chanting Jai Mata Di, Jai Mata Di. This deep dive is collected, created, and presented by Pawan Thakur of Thakur Property Consultancy. Every year, millions of people attempt the ascent of the Trikuta Mountains in Jammu and Kashmir to reach the Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine. This topographical model shows the scale of the challenge. The path requires a 14-kilometer vertical climb, ending at an altitude of 5,200 feet. Moving millions of people through a single mountain bottleneck requires high-density crowd management and specialized infrastructure to prevent the route from stalling. To understand how this movement is managed today, we have to look at the ancient mythological chase that set the specific coordinates for the modern route. The geography of the mountain follows the path of the goddess Vaishnavi, an incarnation of the Tridevi, who entered these hills seeking a place for meditation. She was pursued by Bhairav Nath, a powerful tantric disciple of Guru Gorakhnath. The conflict began at a feast arranged by a local devotee, where Bhairav Nath broke social and religious protocols by demanding meat and wine in a vegetarian household. When the goddess refused, Bhairav Nath attempted to seize her, forcing her to flee the village and head into the higher elevations of the Trikuta range. This pursuit created the physical map that millions of pilgrims follow today. The first major landmark on the trail is the Baan Ganga River. According to the legend, the goddess shot an arrow into the earth here to provide water for her guardian, Hanuman. On the modern trail, this functions as the initial waypoint where pilgrims bathe and prepare for the steep climb ahead. Another 1.5 kilometers up the mountain is Charan Paduka. This is the spot where the goddess reportedly paused to look back at her pursuer, leaving her footprints pressed into the stone. These footprints are preserved today as a physical marker on the trail, where pilgrims stop to pay respects. These early stops establish the pace of the ascent, ensuring that the physical exertion of the climb is broken up by the narrative markers of the myth. The journey reaches a critical narrow point at the midpoint, Ardhkuwari. This is the site of the Garb June cave, where the goddess is said to have meditated in hiding for 9 months. The cave itself is an extremely narrow stone passage that requires pilgrims to crawl through a restricted space. Pilgrims of all sizes navigate this crevice, a phenomenon that has become a central part of the experience at this location. By passing through this bottleneck, the geological constraint of the mountain becomes a mandatory part of the spiritual journey. Because Ardhkuwari is such a tight space, modern infrastructure had to be expanded here to handle the volume of the crowds. Historically, the only path forward was the Hathimata route. The Hathimata track is steep and congested, with pedestrians sharing the trail with ponies and palanquins. To ease this congestion, the Shrine Board opened a second path, the Himkoti track. This newer route uses gentler gradients and prohibits animals, providing a more controlled environment for those on foot. Every pilgrim carries an RFID card, allowing the board to monitor foot traffic in real time and distribute the load between these two separate paths. The old path handles the heavy lifting of the pack animals, while the newer track provides a bypass for pedestrians. Splitting the flow and monitoring it in real time provided the capacity necessary to move millions of people across this specific mountain geometry. The paths converge at the Bhawan, the main shrine located 5,200 feet up the mountain. This is the location of the final confrontation, where the goddess took the form of Mahakali to stop Bhairav Nath. Inside the cave, the goddess is represented by 3 natural rock formations called pindies. According to the story, she beheaded the tantric with her trident at this spot. His torso remained at the cave entrance, but the force of the strike sent his head flying further up the peak. On a topographical map, his head followed a parabolic arc, landing at a much higher point, 6,600 feet above sea level. This event added one final, more difficult destination to the map, thousands of feet above the main shrine. This leads to a specific condition in the legend. As he dies, Bhairav repents and asks the goddess for a way to be forgiven. She grants him a boon, stating that the pilgrimage is only considered complete if the devotee also visits the site where his head fell. This makes the Bairan temple a mandatory final stop for every pilgrim. This requirement created a physical barrier. For years, pilgrims who had already climbed 14 kilometers often found the additional near-vertical ascent to the peak beyond their physical capacity. To solve this, the Shrine Board replaced the trek with a mass transit system. A modern passenger ropeway system now connects the main shrine directly to the Vaishno Temple at the peak. The system moves 800 passengers an hour, allowing thousands of people every day to complete the final requirement of the journey regardless of their physical exhaustion. The result is a system where the myth dictates the specific route, and the engineering manages the human survival of it.